That's a really cool function. I love the fact that it produces a pinpoint laser. Hey guys, Brad here. Today let's take a look at a laser by M-Cube. Now this is a Kickstarter and this video is sponsored by M-Cube. So they've asked us to take an honest look at this new laser that's coming out. This is on Kickstarter right now, so it's pretty exciting and it's a very unique tool. I've never played with anything quite like this. It has multiple components that you can click together to create different scenarios, different laser measurings, all kinds of stuff. So we're gonna get into it, show you what you get in this kit, and I'll give you my 2 cents on the whole kit itself. First off, we've got a nice case. Feels nice, it's well built, it's sturdy, it's got kind of a hard lid on it. It's a zipper all the way around. We've got a tripod that you get with it, which is all metal construction. So we've got the top part and the actual tripod. So this just opens up super easily. 1/4-inch thread slides on just like that, and there you go. So you got your tripod. So to unlock the tripod, we've got a little locking symbol right here. That's unlock. Pull it up and we get a little bit of height on that. So it's perfect for a table or something like this. You know, you can just kind of focus in your laser, and that's really important with some of the features on this. So I'm going to give you an overview of how this thing connects together. It's really unique. Basically, you've got the main system right here. This is the screen. It's got the on button. You just hold this down and then it'll turn on. So once you've got this on, you've got a touch screen. We have a magnetic base here, and all these bases connect to it, giving you different types of functions. So we've got 3 different bases here. Okay, and they all just magnetically attach like that. Once you attach it magnetically, it just goes to the menu for that specific function of this device. So we're going to go through each device and explain to you what they all do. For starters, let's just take a look at the menu functions here. There's a couple different laser options in here. We've got the main laser. You can swipe. We've got a pro laser. Now I'm not going to go through every single feature of each selection, but I'll give you a rough overview. We have the scale ruler, smart room, a level, some settings. The level, I'm going to start off with that. I think this level is actually really cool. So we click on the level and you've got one of these little dots that kind of level out in the middle. It's pretty cool. If we attach it to this laser module right here, so that just snaps in there. It's just a magnet, just clips right in. These lock in on the side. So if we go back to the level here, click on that. Now if I click on this green crosshair, now we have a crosshair laser. This is the first laser I've looked at that's handheld, that isn't a plain laser like something like this Bosch. This is the first handheld one that gives you crosshairs. So you can see it on me right here. I think this has lots of applications. Number one, you can line things up. So on the table, I want to line up point A to point B, and we can just kind of see, is that a straight line? That's something that's pretty cool. The one thing about this laser is it's only as wide as this field of view. So the further you go away from the object, obviously the wider the laser beam. Now on here is a little level bubble. So you can see at the back here, we've got some crosshairs. So if you get the little ball in the middle, it also has numbers showing you when you're zeroed out. So you see how I'm adjusting it, and you can get it zeroed out. And now this works really great if you're on the tripod. So you screw this thing down to the tripod and you can kind of level it out, and then you've got your crosshairs so you can hang pictures, you can deal with banisters, railings, things that you're mounting on walls, all kinds of things. Showers, tile work. It's a really handy little laser level to have. I like that function. I think that's really unique for such a small little device. That's something that I just really sort of honed in on and I've been playing with a lot. So I like that. We can pull this off, and then we've just got our little module here, and this is just a little laser pointer, which I'll show you. So for real basic laser measuring, we just go back to the laser, we click on this. Now we've got a lot of functions that you would have on a regular laser measurer. So you just press on the laser measure button. This can measure from the back or from the front. You've got options for that. So once we're in the little laser app here, you've got a laser beam coming out. Now you can change all the different dimensions on here, millimeters, metric, imperial, whatever you want. You've got so many different options for that. You can change where it's measuring, from the front or from the back. So that's just the basic laser measurer. Now I'll go back out of this app. You've got a minimum and a maximum, which is really cool. To lock in the measurement, you're pressing the button on the side here, and that's giving you the dimensions. You can change it again. So just like a regular laser measurer with the minimum and the maximum measurements. We'll scroll out of that and we'll go to the next one, the Pro Laser. This is where you've got more functions. There's a total of 7 different functions in here. You've got some indirect measuring. For example, right here, this top one, that's if you are, let's say, measuring a wall and you can't get close enough to measure the height. So you could measure horizontal, then you can measure on the diagonal up to the top, and then that will give you your vertical height. So that's handy if you're doing takeoffs for siding. I've used that function before with different measurers, so they have that on here as well. There's all these different indirect measurements that you can do. Another one I thought was really good was you can easily figure out the area of a room. So that's pretty cool. You scroll back. This one here is for figuring out the overall area of multiple walls. So the first thing you do, it tells you right here, measure up. So I would measure up, you click it, okay, I'm 1,103 millimeters, and then you measure here, and then you start working yourself around the room. So that's your first measurement, second, and then you can just keep going and measure around the room. So if your room has a consistent height of say 9 feet, and you're trying to figure out how much drywall you need or how much paint you need, this is a perfect way to figure out basically your square footage of all of your wall space. So that's a really handy function to have. The touchscreen is super easy to use as well, guys. It's kind of like an Apple Watch. You know, it's about the same size. Roughly, I'll give you an example here. Here's my watch. So about the same size. Scroll back up, then you've got the scale ruler. So we're gonna go back in here and grab another connection. So with the scale ruler, you just lock this in, click on your measurement tool. Now, when you roll around, you can actually measure radiuses, or if you're doing some blueprint reading, there's all these different functions in here on how to actually take measurements. So let me just pull up the menu for you. So you've got inch and fractions, millimeters, centimeters, meters, inches, inch fractions. So it's pretty awesome. So the way you do it is you hold down the button on the side and it produces a little laser here. And you can see the laser in front of the tool, and you just wheel this around and that's taking the measurement. When you're done, you let go of the button and it'll give you a measurement on the screen. This is perfect for reading plans. So if you've got some detailed plans and you're trying to figure out some distances, you set it to what the plan is, say 1/4 inch per foot, and then you can just read those walls or the radius. Maybe you're building an arched wall or something like that. You can read that out and it'll just come up on the screen. So you can actually use that and apply it to what you're building. So that's a really cool function. I love the fact that it produces a pinpoint laser. A lot of tools that I've seen out there that have this function, you don't have that little laser beam. You're just relying on a wheel and you're hoping that you're getting in the right spot. Maybe there's a little arrow or something, but the fact that this is producing a laser, you know exactly where you're starting and where you're stopping. So I think that's really important, and I think they did a good job of having that function on here. So another big feature with this is there's an app on your phone, and download the app. This will allow you to draw out rooms essentially. Now there's another function where you attach this unit onto this. This takes 2 AA batteries in the bottom here. That just closes up. And then you've got this little joystick, and you've got a button right here. You've got an undo button, and then you've got a lockout button right here. So what this button on the side does is it locks out your plan just to 90-degree turns only. If you have it off, when you're doing the plan with the joystick, you can actually change the angles. So essentially what you can do is walk around a room and you can draw it out with this joystick on the screen and shoot it at the same time. And then when you're done doing that, you download it by pressing that button, and it will connect to your app on your phone. And that will transfer this measurement onto the app. You can save it on there, you can export it, you can adjust it. It's really impressive of how this connects with the Bluetooth. So super easy to pair up to your phone. I'm actually using my phone right now to film this, so I can't show you that function, but it works great. It's a lot like the Bosch Measure On app. If you've used that, it's a very similar to that function where you can go around. The only difference is this one here, you have the ability to control the angles with this joystick, which is really cool. On the screen, you've got a little arrow. What you want to do is press this button. There's a laser shooting out the top here. Now that's giving me a distance, okay? There's also giving you degrees of angle on here, so you can kind of keep within that. Now I've already shot to my hand, so then I can take this little joystick, I turn the arrow, and let's say I want to shoot this distance. So I press the button again, and it just moved the arrow over a little bit. You can make your room, I'm just going to do a couple here so you can kind of get a better example. Turn it, shoot that way, turn it back, shoot that way. So you can see I'm making a room. Now if I want some 90-degree turns, I just flick this button up. So now it's only going to allow me to turn that arrow at 90 degrees, whereas before I could do it at different angles, and it shows the angles down here as well. So then I'm going to do that guy, press the button twice, and right now I'm just shooting up to the ceiling just so you get measurements. But that's how you make rooms. Then I can export this when I'm done, and you just do that by pressing this arrow down button, and it will connect to my app on my phone, and then I can play with it some more on there, or I can export it to a client or whoever. Now this is the only module on the bottom here that takes 2 batteries. The rest of this is all powered by this front unit here. This is the only unit that takes the batteries, and these 2 units don't take any batteries at all. They are all powered off of this, and this is charged with the USB-C, which they give you. So that's really handy. So on here, we've got the power meter on the top left corner. You've got the Bluetooth meter on the top right corner. Now I'm going to show you how to laser measure coming out of both ends. And now to do that, you want to take this little guy, line up the 2 metal connectors, connect it on there, and it'll immediately bring up the laser measurer. Now you can see it's shooting out of the bottom and it's shooting out of the top. So what this allows you to do is go around a room and you don't have to bend over. Or what I use something like this for is stairwells. If you're shooting walls and I need to know how much drywall I need or cladding or something like that, I don't have to be bending down. I can shoot all the way down just by pressing the button on the side, and it's giving me my measurements. So that's super handy. So another cool thing is on the side you have a little bubble level, so that will also help you get this thing where you need it. Now I would highly recommend, if you're using some of the laser measures where you're doing indirect measuring, you do use a tripod, because you do have to pivot off of one spot, and that can be a little tricky if you're just doing it freehand. With a tripod you can just set it and adjust it exactly, and you're going to get those measurements more accurate. That's something that I've learned over the years of using that type of laser measure. So for a Kickstarter, this is a pretty cool little device. It's well built, it feels nice and solid. The lasers are really bright. The touchscreen is super easy to use. Once you know how to press it and manipulate things, you can get through it no problem. Now there's also a settings in here that allow you to customize this for your own preferences, whether it's what type of measurement you like to use. Is it metric or imperial? It gets into all kind of different measurements as well, like engineering measurements, the battery life, all that kind of stuff. So really cool little tool. Has its applications for sure for different types of businesses, whether you're an architect, a designer, someone who just does takeoffs. If you're reading blueprints all day, this little roller deal right here is pretty sweet. So overall, I feel really lucky to have gotten this. I'd love to hear from you guys. Have you used anything like this? I haven't. This is my first time using something that has all these sort of functions and different modules. So that's pretty cool. Leave some comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. Definitely subscribe, hit that notify bell. Until next time, keep on crushing it, and we'll catch you later.